Hello guys, how are you?
I'm Hardeep Singh. Welcome back to your own YouTube channel. IELTS updates and recent exams. For more updates related to recent IELTS exam writing test topics, listening, reading, practice test, and speaking, you got guesswork. Please, guys, participate in everyday listening and reading practice test to achieve your desired band score in your actual IELTS exam. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Press the bell icon for the upcoming notifications. Don't forget like, subscribe and share my YouTube channel and my Facebook page, IELTS updates and recent exams.
Part 1.
You will hear a guide introducing tourists to the Red River Festival. First, you will have some time to look at questions 1 to 4.
The festival takes place over a long weekend. That is, it starts on the Friday afternoon and runs until Sunday evening. Normally, the festival would take place on the 4th of July, the same day as American Independence Day, but this year we've rescheduled it for the 4th of August. Now, you can buy tickets for this festival either by the day or for the whole festival. The second option is cheaper, although of course not everyone can attend for the whole time. A day's ticket is $10 and it's $25 for the whole festival. That's very good value. If you want tickets, you're advised to get them early because there are always more visitors than tickets. Space is limited, so buy early. You can get them direct from the festival organizer's headquarters, the festival office, and I'll give you that address later. Or you can get them from any of our 3 post offices or one of the many bookshops in the town. Last year, we issued them from tourist advice centers and the town hall, but this year it was decided to limit the number of outlets to cut down on administrative costs.
Before the talk continues, you have some time to read questions 5 to 10.
The weather is looking good. The forecast is expected to be one of the hottest and sunniest weekends of the year, so it's perfect for the festival. Although I would remind you to cover up and be aware of the dangers of too much sunshine. If it gets too hot for you, you could always stay inside for some of the indoor events. And of course, you'll be able to get food from sandwiches and snacks to barbecues as well as ethnic fast food from several stands. There will be a bar this year, but after last year, we will only be selling soft drinks, beer, and wine. We have decided not to bother with a spirits license. There won't be any whiskey on sale. So, what's on? Well, I can only give you a flavor of the many attractions we have coming this year. But if I can name one of my personal favorites, you must see Petey's Dozen, a traditional New Orleans jazz band. They were here last year and were so popular that we've invited them back. If you like classical music, we've got a string quartet from Poland, appropriately called Strings, playing classical favorites. We've also got rock bands, a blues band from the UK, a group of traditional Bavarian beer hall singers, and another of my favorites, the Fiddlers, who come from Ireland. Their special brand of folk music is popular all over the world. Moving on then to other attractions in the Red River area. For children, there's lots to do and see, from museums to theme parks.
That is the end of part 1.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Now turns to part 2.
You will hear a man and a female bank employee talking about getting a loan. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 16.
Good afternoon. County and District Bank Customer Services. Can I help you?
Hello? I need to speak to someone about getting a loan, an overdraft.
Yes. Perhaps I can help you. Do you bank with us, sir?
Yes, my name is Mick O'Drew.
Sorry, sir. Your surname is?
O'Drew. Mick O'Drew. But my full name is Michael.
And can I have your account number, please, Mr. O'Drew?
Yes, it's 39261916.
That's fine. Now, I just need to confirm some details for security reasons. What is your address?
It's 24 Kilverton Drive. That's in Chalvey. That's Chalvey. The postcode is SA39ER.
And your telephone number?
0458 88320.
And can you tell me your date of birth, Mr. O'Drew?
Yes, it's 23rd of February 1967.
Thank you. Now, there are some gaps in your file here. I don't seem to have an address for you at work.
No, when I joined your bank, I didn't have a job.
Ah.
But I do now. I work for Calver Engineering. That's in Carbury. The address is 30 Works Yard, Carbury.
Could you repeat that?
Works Yard. WORKSYARD. It's 2 words.
Right. Thank you. Do you have a work telephone number where we can contact you, please?
Yes, it's 0912 79509.
7509?
No, it's 79509.
Oh, right. Thank you. How long have you been there, Mr. O'Drew?
I started in 1998.
Okay, that's fine. And can you tell me your current salary, please?
Well, I'm not sure exactly, but it's about £18,000.
You now have some time to look at questions 17 to 20.
Now, you would like an overdraft. Do you have any other major debts?
What do you mean?
Well, are you paying a mortgage on your house?
Yes,
How much is that every month?
it's about £450.
I see. And do you have any credit cards or store cards?
Yes, I pay £45 a month in credit card charges. Oh, and about £19 a month for my store card. That's with JH only, the clothes shop.
Do you have any personal loans or hire purchase agreements?
None whatsoever.
Right, well, the loan shouldn't be a problem. I can set it up for you in the morning. I've set your limit at £250, although you can raise this to £300 if you're still having problems. Just give us a ring if you need to.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye, sir.
That is the end of part 2.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Now turns to part 3.
You are going to hear a conversation between Mary and Mr. Hayes, one of her former high school teachers. First, listen to the first part of the conversation and answer questions 21 to 25.
Hi, Mr. Hayes. It's so great to see you again.
Mary, one of my most favourite students. So, how are you?
Well, to be honest, Mr. Hayes, not so good. That's why I wanted to see you. It's about university. So different from high school.
Oh dear. Well, why don't we sit down over there and you can tell me all about it? Let's see if I can be of any help to you.
Oh dear, I feel so stupid now. I shouldn't have bothered you.
Don't be silly, Mary. We all need someone to speak to sometimes. And since your mother and father are in New Zealand, you probably feel a bit lost now and then. But before you say anything else, why don't you tell me all the things that you like about your new life at university?
Gee, I don't know. I guess I like the city. Canterbury Cathedral is one of my favorite places. I often go there just to sit and think. Or just sit.
Oh, I can quite understand that. And you've got the sea. I love the sea. And you are never more than a short cycle ride from the lovely Kent countryside. And how are your teachers?
Oh, the profs are great. Not as good as you, but really interesting and always ready to explain things after class. But I don't know. They're really good. But I just can't seem to feel enthusiastic about studying anymore.
Mary? Not a keen student anymore? My dear, that's so hard to believe. You were always so energetic and interested in all your studies, except German, if I remember correctly. But you still did very well in it. And you always wanted to major in biology, which is what you're doing now. Do you still enjoy biology?
You now have some time to read questions 26 to 30.
I don't know. I suppose so. But I kind of have to force myself to go to lectures and stuff. It all seems like a waste of time. Pointless.
Mary, I think I know you quite well. You're obviously not feeling yourself. Are you feeling sad or worried about something?
Not really sad, and I don't think I'm worried about anything in particular. It's just that nothing seems worth bothering with.
Have you spoken with your mum or dad lately?
Not since Easter. I send them emails, but they hardly ever reply, and they are never in when I try to phone them. Always out filming.
Yes, Mary. That is sometimes the problem with very successful parents. They get so wrapped up in their work that they neglect their kids. Not intentional, but it happens.
I guess, but at least I could speak to them sometimes when they were here in London. But now, well, I feel really alone at Canterbury.
Have you made any friends there, Mary? You were always such a popular person here. It seemed you were in every club and sports team. President of the chess club. Have you joined any university clubs?
Not really. Suppose I should. I'll check out the debating society once I get back.
That's a good idea. Let me know how you get on.
That is the end of part 3.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Now turns to Part 4.
You are going to hear a lecture about the achievements of the ancient Aztecs of Central America. You now have some time to read questions 31 to 40.
Good evening. Good to see so many people here to learn about the fascinating civilization of the Aztecs. By the way, is the microphone working? You can hear okay at the back? Good. Let's go back to 1519 AD. Anyone know what happened in that year? Right. Hernan Cortes landed on that part of Central America that is today known as Mexico. He expected to find gold, and he did. What he did not expect to find, however, was the great Aztec civilization. Aztec legend said they originated in the plains of northwestern Mexico and slowly migrated southward. When they arrived at Lake Texcoco in 1325, they founded their great capital, Tenochtitlan, on the site of what is now Mexico City. The Aztecs developed a complex society and governmental structure, at the head of which was the emperor. They made many scientific advances, especially in the areas of astronomy and medicine. They also had a complicated religion, and interest in the arts, agriculture, and social conditions occupied much of their time. Let's talk about their remarkable achievements in some of these areas. You cannot do much if you don't have food to eat, so let's first take a look at their farming practices. The land that the Aztecs farmed was not fertile enough to grow enough food to support the growing population, so they were forced to invent methods to increase productivity, including irrigation, fertilizer, and even building terraces on hills to protect soil from running off, like we see today in China, the Philippines, and many other parts of the world. But one thing we don't see was their very original idea of chinapas, spelt C-H-I-N-A-P-A-S. Chinapas were floating gardens built on swamps. Actually, they were quite simple to make. First, canals were dug through the marshes and swamps. Then, mud from the canals was placed on mats woven from weeds and straw. These mats were quite big, maybe 5 or 6 meters long and 2 across. Trees were then planted in the bed of the swamp at the corners of each mat. The trees took root, and the chinapas were held firmly in place. The Aztecs used these floating gardens to plant their maize, corn, and also vegetables like beans, chili peppers, avocados, squash, and tomatoes. The Aztecs were very advanced in some ways, but they didn't use animals or plows to help them work the land. In fact, they didn't even have the wheel. No problem. The soil on the chinapas was soft enough that pointed sticks were all they needed to plant crops on them. But the Aztecs were much more than imaginative gardeners. They made great advances in the sciences, especially astronomy. I'm sure many of you have heard of the Aztecs' calendar stone. It took them 52 years, from 1427 to 1479, to build the calendar stone. It was huge, a massive piece of rock 3 feet thick, 12 feet in diameter, and weighing about 24 tons, on which they carved pictographs for the days and months of the Aztec calendar.
This showed just how advanced the Aztecs were in the science of astronomy. It makes me think of the clean air they enjoyed in those days, when they could see all the stars shining so brightly in the night sky. They would have had a big problem doing this in most parts of the world nowadays. But back to the calendar stone. It had 18 months, each of 20 days, namely 360 days made 1 year. But they had long before worked out that there are 365 days in a year. So they added 5 days, which they called the Nemontemi, or sacrificial days, to get 365. Remember, this was 103 years before the Gregorian calendar that we use today. Very sophisticated, those Aztec astronomers. And they were not only clever astronomers. The Aztecs made great advances in medicine. At the time, many Europeans looked down on the herbal medicine of the Aztecs as a heathen practice, just like they used to look down on traditional Chinese or African medicine. But in fact, Aztec doctors could do more than even the best doctors in Europe. Their medicine was primarily based on spiritual healing and herbal healing. Spiritual because they believed many illnesses were caused by such things as an angry god or bad birth signs. So their first step in treating an illness was always prayer and sometimes animal sacrifice. But they also used herbal medicine and concentrated much of their medical science on finding out what herbs could do, just like the ancient Chinese doctors. So, over generations, the Aztecs accumulated a vast knowledge of the herbs in the world around them and the medicinal properties of each one. One difference with traditional Chinese medicine is that the Aztecs concentrated more on curing the symptoms of a disease than getting at the cause of the disease. They felt that if a god or goddess wished to make them ill, then they could do nothing about the root cause, namely a god. If the medicine worked, it meant that the gods approved of the patient getting well again.
That is the end of part 4.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
So guys, don't forget like, subscribe and share my YouTube channel and my Facebook page, IELTS updates and recent exams. For more updates related to recent IELTS exam writing test topics, listening, reading, practice test and speaking, you cut guesswork. Please guys, participate in everyday new IELTS listening and reading practice tests to achieve your desired band score in your actual IELTS exam. For more IELTS material, visit my official website www.ieltsupdatesandrecentexams.com. The link is given below in the description. If you need PDF files of latest IELTS material, then please join my Telegram channel. So guys, please write your score below the comment section. Again, thanks for listening. God bless you all guys. Stay tuned, stay safe.